Interesting. Interesting. Very interesting. What is going on, all you lovely people out there? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Michael Hora, and this is a lovely penguin. And today, we will be breaking down all there is to know about the arts of the music video for More and More by Twice. It is a absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous video, and yeah, we're going to take a look and talk about it. So, come on, let's go check it out. All right, so first and foremost, we're starting off with this absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous set of the mystical forest that the girls are hanging out in. They're finding the butterflies, they're finding bunny rabbits and jaguars and horses and all sorts of crazy, crazy animals and critters. And to be honest with you guys, it's super, super cool. I think this is like just visually appealing to the eye, if you would, and it's because of all the art that they use. So as you can see, they got these big trees. They got some twisty looking trees as well. Most of these things you should be able to rent from a prop house. They usually have stuff like this, and then it would just be kind of repurposed. However, I know in Korea they seem to be a lot bigger on actually rebuilding stuff. So if you were going to make these trees again, man, they're like this. Those are not easy things to build. You'd most likely have to outsource it to some sort of a fabrication, either person or business or company, if you would, that they would specially create those trees for you, just so that you could have your art team kind of focusing on other things that need to be done as well. And fabricators, they do special kind of builds like this. I would imagine if I had to do these things, this would be a little bit outside of my personal experience, but I would go with the classic hard foam that you can just kind of cut up and make into whatever shape that you want, and then you paint it to make it look accordingly. So with that, you just get a couple of bits of metal wiring and stuff, and you build the frame out of metal. You could even build it out of wood if you want, and then you just stick it through and connect the pieces, and then you just layer foam, these big foam blocks on each other, and you cut them into shape until they fit together. But I think they probably did it a different way. These look a little bit too clean and too nice on their own for that to be the case. However, they did deck them out nicely with flowers and different pieces of moss as well as like these other kind of smaller flowers. I forgot what those are called. I'm totally blanking. I've never been good with flowers, in fairness. So, but the other thing that gets me questioning in these scenes, and you see it a little bit more in some of the other shots, like there's certain plants in here that are really brightly pink and purple and orange, and I'm wondering if those are plants that you could just rent out, or if like, because some of them seem bright enough that like they might be painted on to give it that pop, or it could also be lighting as well, lighting it up in a certain way to make it stand out a little bit more color. Like sometimes they might even use like a black light on it to really emphasize the color. But for the most part, yeah, a lot of this stuff is going to be rentals. There are flower rental places that you can get to where there's flower rental places that you can go to where you can get different flowers that are both real and fake ones. Most often they use the fake ones pretty much because they'll hold color better, and you don't have to worry about them dying, because if they die, then they start to shrivel up, they brown, and they lose their color as well. So for the most part, you're going to typically see in videos like this that they're using fake flowers and stuff, but they look really realistic enough to the point where you would never notice watching on your own. It's just things that people like me will think about because, you know, it's our job. I also loved that they had these little bunnies. They actually brought live bunnies onto the set. It's so cute. Makes for such fun little shots. The girls got to hold them and whatever. Also, as we're zoomed in here, it looks like they used real grass too. Like they probably just rolled out a bunch of grass and just like you would do with a lawn. Like a lot of people get grass installed onto their lawn so they don't have to actually grow it from seeds. And you just buy a huge roll of grass, essentially, roll it out, put them next to each other. And then there's a little bit of like special things that you can do where essentially you break up the dirt underneath it with like some sort of a spike, and it'll kind of have the grass kind of come together a little bit better so you don't really notice the seams in between it. I would imagine they would have gone with some sort of artificial turf or something like that, but the way it's so long and stuff, and the fact that they actually have the rabbits on there, and it looks like the rabbits might be chomping on it a little bit, I imagine it's probably actual grass, which is interesting. It's an interesting choice, especially when you got the girls having to like sit and lay on it, and they're in white clothes and stuff. It just you're asking for a grass stain or even just dirt on you as well. So it looks, I mean, they could have gotten like a long artificial grass, but I don't know. It looks pretty real to me. I'm not a grass specialist. I don't know. Also, we have we got the pool again here in the background. It's a little bit out of focus here, but you can see it, which means that they had to build some sort of a structure that can hold water without leaking. I think this is around the same set that they did Feel Special, where they had a lot of water on set. So I'm sure that they're well aware of how to do this properly. Yeah, you just basically make a hole and put a liner in it, and then I'm sure they bought a blue liner just so that it would be the right color, and then you just put water in it, you know? Either way, this whole first section is just gorgeous. And then for a second when we were watching the video, I thought they jumped onto a new set. It's not, actually. It's the same set. It's just different lighting. It's darker. It's made to look like it's nighttime, you know? And either way, it's still super nice and super cool, really vibrant. And then on top of it too, a thing that I didn't notice before, but the women in this group, their outfits all pop with the background, as well as the different hair colors, right? Like we got the bright red up here, we got the blonde, we got the platinum, we got purple in the middle, a blue, like a tealish blue here. I think, oh no, she has purple. Actually, I don't know if she had her hair changed. Hold on, let's see if we can get a better shot where you can see better. No, her hair's black. Then we got the brown, we got the pink, and the blonde. So everybody's got a little bit of something different going on here. But regardless, you get to see how it just jumps off the screen at you, because the background also accentuates these bright colors, even though it's a little bit dark. So that's really great on wardrobe and makeup, complementing the set as well. Which that's just another way that those sets kind of overlap and stuff, you know? And it makes, yet again, beautiful shots. This one freaked me out at first. When I first saw this shot, I paused it because I was like, hold on a second. There's no way they put her on here with some leopards or jaguars or whatever animals these are. But for the most part, those have been animated in, because it would be horrifyingly unsafe to actually have those animals there live with her. But that's not a bad thing. They did a really good job in doing so. But if you do notice, behind them, they have these awesome steps with really, really fuzziness coming off of them. And it's kind of like a really, really long shag carpet, I guess you could say, with just a bunch of different colors coming through. I don't know exactly what the name of that kind of material is, unfortunately. But still, it's just super cool. It really comes out awesome. And then on top of it, too, you got the background. They built a nice set piece here with like a big open window. And then you got the cactuses and stuff. So it looks kind of like a desert in the background as well. Just really kind of adds a nice pop of pink and blue and purple as well on the backdrop there, to accent against like the harder metallic feel of these walls as well. So it really kind of accentuates where she is rather than everything else in the background. And that's just really great set dressing, to be honest. Now, this one is an interesting shot, because to be honest with you, I'm not 100% sure exactly how this is set up. The perspective on it is very strange because it's an overhead shot, but it looks like this would be kind of like a three-tiered cake, if you would, where you can just see it under her here. She's got her own platform that she's actually sitting on. And then there'd be the second platform, which is this octagon right here, and then the bigger octagon on the outside, followed by a pool, right? Again, I don't know if this is the same set as the first forest, but I think they just used a lot of plants similarly in order to make it feel like you're in the same mystical forest. But then also all this color and stuff are just different colored feathers. If you look closely, you can see that there's different feathers. You can kind of see the middle stalk and then the feathers coming off of it, the fuzzy parts of it coming off. There's another like middle piece with the I don't know the anatomy of a feather, but you know how it's like there's like the spine of it and then like the stuff coming off. That's like the feather part. But either way, it's all feathers. Looks really cool. And then that's just a clean white. And then I think they just took a couple of metal bars. I think those are metal bars, especially because she's leaning on them. And they probably just stuck them into whatever material this is. I mean, the thing definitely looks like it's made out of metal, but I don't know if it is. If I was building this, it definitely would not be made out of metal, but that's mainly because I don't really work with metal very often. Especially enough to have to be able to solder bars together. Like, I don't know how to do that kind of stuff. It's not in my repertoire of things I know how to do. I'm sure I could learn it, but not well enough for a music video like this. So, shots like this, first off, awesome job by the animators in this, or the editing and stuff in this video. It's all shot on green screen. Not a bad thing. It makes for a really kind of like psychedelic feel to it as well, which is really nice. And it really kind of pops with the colors again, which continues the same feel from the mythical forest or mystical forest that they were going for. So it just definitely continues this sweet, sweet vibe. Then we got the apple shots. Again, this is in the mystical forest. It looks like they might have actually brought in an apple tree for this one for real. Again, it's another thing that you can rent out from prop houses and stuff. This one would be a little bit harder, or they might have even just bought an apple tree as well, took care of it until they use it for the music video. And then they would probably station it onto some sort of a platform that would hold it from falling. And yeah, I think that's how they actually did this shot. Because the way that the apples are actually attached to the trees, like the ones they're reaching for, they're like legitimately attached. So I think that's real. I think that's an actual tree. And a snake. Nothing more to say about that. It's a snake on a branch. It looks good. However, it's like I don't like snakes. So whatever. Here we go. This one's a cool set as well. Yes, here we go. Okay, so there is so much going on in this shot right here. And also now I'm just realizing those steps in the back here, if you could see my cursor, these are the same steps that the girl was sitting on with the leopards. So that's really cool. That's a nice way that they reuse that set. You also see later on, I apologize, I don't know all the girls' names. I know just a few. So this girl here, she ends up sitting in here for her solo bit as well. But yeah, I mean, look at all the colors. Look at how well that they colored this. For the most part, it seems like they did a relatively interesting way of painting where you kind of just let the paint drip down, it looks like. Or they might have even just like been splashing on color. Yeah, so an interesting way that you can do it is you could do this with spray paint, you could do it with regular paint, but you just kind of paint on a bunch of different layers, even if you're just splashing the paint onto especially these pillars. They look like they did it this way, but you can do that, and then you can take something like newspaper and kind of pat it dry, if you would, and it'll kind of pick up layers of paint and leave some layers of paint. So then you get to see the different colors coming through. And that's more what it looks like here. The walls are a little bit different. It looks like they kind of watered down the paint a little bit and then let it run down the wall so that you got that kind of different textures going on. And they definitely did that before putting in like the metallic-y looking pieces here as well, because those are very clean and crisp. So, I mean, bravo. This board here is to cover up the seam in the wall because these are two pieces, in case you're wondering. And then they got the rock features as well. Again, I personally would do this with some sort of rock foam. Not rock foam, sorry, hard foam that you can cut and make it look however the way you want it. It particularly looks really good for rocks. So, oh, wait a second. I think this piece right here might be the same one that was on the overhead shot. Interesting. Interesting. Very interesting. But yeah, an easy way to make the different colors really pop and accentuate is by different lighting and stuff. You could put different color lights on it. So like this metallic wall back here, it looked gold in the last shot, but they just put a different color filter on the lights to make it look pink and whatnot. But yeah, dude, there's so much going on. You got all this really nice carpeting right here, and then you kind of have the flat floor here. They probably painted that like a deep dark purple. Plants, all those would be rented as well, put into place. Actually, you can see that one's in a planter still. They didn't even take that one out of the little container it comes in. And you can actually see another one back there. It also has its container too. But yeah, for the most part, this set is so damn gorgeous. This must have taken so long to build. Like, this is not a 1 or 2 day build. This would have to be like a week-long build just for this one room alone. Not to mention that they have the plants and stuff on the next room, which would lead me to believe that they built the mythical forest right next to this set, so that when you're kind of peeking through there, you're seeing into the mythical forest as well. See? Oh no. Oh, I am incorrect. Call me incorrect right off the bat. We get to see it from that perspective. So this is the ring I was talking about. This is her. She's in here. But yeah, I guess they just kind of put a couple of trees and plants into these little archway areas to fill it up a little bit. And then also they put some probably plastic hanging down in order to capture a little bit more of the color off of the lights that are coming around as well. But yeah, that's really, really dope. And this is definitely, this feature in the water, that's where they definitely did the overhead shot as well, which is pretty sick. But still, this is an intense set. In terms of spider webs, a little more tedious to set up, especially because they kind of, it looks like they mainly used like jewelry-ish rope, if you would, where it's like the little gems kind of strung together. Not a super hard build. Mainly you're just going to kind of put them together, probably use a little bit of hot glue or something like that to stick them together, and then just let them drape. You can even tie them together as well. And then you just hang the whole piece up and it looks like a giant spider web. Then they got these prop spiders in here as well. I hope those aren't real because I hate spiders. But still, makes for a really cool shot. Also, that's totally a real horse. Heck yeah. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty sweet. That's also right back into the mythical forest. Now, I want to get to these. Oh, hold up. I almost forgot about this. This is super cool. So this tunnel that the girls come walking through, it's the same material. Excuse me. It's the same material that they used for those steps where the leopards were. And it's all that different color and whatnot. And you can kind of see it. But they also did a little bit of animation to kind of make it look spacey and really glowy. And almost like right here, it almost looks like there's like a galaxy right there, you know? And it's a special little bits of editing that they did. But then you can also see over here how there's like little hair fringes and all that kind of stuff. So that's what it is actually built out of. They just draped it probably over like a tunnel shape that you'd make out of like PVC pipe or something like that. You can make it with wood too if you really wanted to. It's not a big deal. But still, this shot was really, really cool. And then that leads us out to the stage. This stage! Dude, it's so cool. So, I will say this. They must have had a professional stage building company come out to build the actual platform itself, right? Because if you notice, when they're dancing and stuff, the platform does not move. If it was kind of like a free floating platform that even had anchors to hold it in place, you would see that it's shaking and that it would kind of bounce a little bit in the water. Anytime any of the girls stepped, it would kind of shift and move a little bit. But the platform more or less stays pretty secure. So most likely they had like a scuba team come in to install the legs that would go all the way down to the bottom of the lake or whatever body of water this is that they're on. It probably is a lake. And it would secure the stage into place. Then they built this huge archway thing, which looks amazing. Looks absolutely amazing. It looks like they probably used some sort of marlite, which is like a reflective surface, and then glued on different sort of like filaments, if you would, shaded colors. The same way that they would do it if they were going to be making like a stained glass window look, but this time it's on like a reflective surface. So that's why you get these really awesome glares coming off of it, and it really accentuates and highlights the different angles that they put in here as well. But behind it's definitely like a metal rig that's kind of holding it there so that they can place those pieces against it, secure it properly so that they don't have to worry about anything falling and hurting anybody as well. But then they add more to it as the video goes, which is really cool as well. So they do the nighttime shots here, right? Which, in fairness, they're doing it mainly on close-ups. So they mainly have a lot of close-up shots for this. I'll see if we can find a better shot. But you can see on the sides, they added in these lights that are on these metal poles that they probably just stuck down into the water. I imagine it's not too deep over there because they're pretty close to the shoreline. But they have these awesome glowing orbs, which honestly, it just accentuates what's going on. It makes it feel a little bit more magical. You can see it through the ladies, as like in between them. In the background, it almost looks like there's stars behind them, if you would. It's just, it's really cool. But then it also transitions into the next set. Oh, also, sorry, I'm just noticing this as I'm like panning through the shots. But they also have the lights, which is part of the lighting department in fairness. But they have them rotating the different colors of the lights and stuff, but they accent off of those shiny surfaces of that marlite, if you would. So it definitely really adds another like really mystical and awesome different little feature to the video as well. And then we cut in the middle of the dance break to this awesome shot. This is probably my like second favorite set that they have built. This set is a really easy setup. And don't get me wrong, it's not that it's easy that I like it. It's just because of how beautiful it looks. Also, the accentuation of the girls wearing white and gold really adds to it as well. But essentially what they did is you would build a huge rig that I don't know what the dimensions of it would be, but I'd imagine it's got to be somewhere around like a 25 by 25 foot square that you would build. And then they run a bunch of poles across it so that they can hang these plants, these little leaves, these white leaves. And there's a couple of like darker green ones in there as well. A couple of red bits in there as well, just to kind of accent everything and really adds texture to the background rather than them just dancing on a white background. It adds a little bit more. And then the color of the lighting changes. It goes all red, and it also adds to it as well because then all the white will glow red with the red lights. Plus they put them on a stage. This again is probably white textured marlite as well. It gives it that glossy look, that glossy feel to it. Easy to install. It comes in pre-cut portions, pretty much every board that you see, more often than not, will come at a dimension of a 4x8. So they come in at 4 feet by 8 feet long. And yeah, you just put them together to make a 6 stage. And then, actually, it's funny too, because you can see in the behind the scenes video, when they step on it, you can see where it kind of bends a little bit. And that's just because, unfortunately, that's how Marlight kind of works. But let's see if we can get one of those red shots in here too. Boom. The whole thing goes red. The whole thing. And all they did was just change the lighting. But look how cool that looks. The white flowers in the background add that texture where you can't really tell that they're flowers, but obviously in seeing them in the white shot, you can see that. But then the actual red ones and the dark green flowers really come out, and they stand out a little bit more as well, and it really adds a good texture to the shot rather than it just being flat color. Simple and easy. And I believe that's it. Let's see. Yeah, again, we come back here. You can see how they're changing the different color lights, and it just adds that kind of magical feel. Also, the cuts back and forth between this are so smooth. Everybody is just like spot on. It's really cool. But yeah, let's see. Was there any other ones? Yeah, so here is the backup, the panned out version of this, and you get to just see all the different lights that they set up in the background. It's the same setup, it's just they added in the lights. But after that, it's pretty much all, the rest of it is more or less the same. They kind of jump back and forth between the same sets after this point. But dude, this video is very aesthetically pleasing. It's very pleasing to the eye. They really, really knocked this one out of the park. I think that their art team absolutely crushed it, and I can't wait to check out more of their music videos. So guys, if you would, go ahead and check out the links that we have down below in our description, and go check those things out that we got going. Like I said, we got Twitch, we got a Discord, we got all that good stuff, so go check it out. I love you, stay aggressively positive, and have a great weekend. Or sorry, great week. What day is it? Sunday? Yeah, great week. Have a great week. I love you. Bye.